Okay, so let's get back to this one. Earlier we able to load the list of the movie, right? But we that's not look cool enough. We go back to the main storyboard. Okay, we just had a table view here. If you see from the GIF walkthrough, you see a lot of information on the table view, right? But for now, we're just able to load that the only movie title. That's not cool enough. We want to load something more. So now we add the table view cell. So you drag the table view cell here. You drag here. It will call the prototype cell. The prototype means this one you can reuse the table view. It's just the prototype you and you say, hey, in this table view cell, I will have the, for example, I add image view, an image view. So this image view will have the poster inside. So I put it there. I change the size of this one to be 80 by 80. The cell still too small, maybe bigger. Okay. So I had the image view here. I will put the poster there. I want the label to be, so I want to have the title here. So this will be the title. So I made it a little bit colorful. So I change the color to, yeah, something like that. That's ugly, but it's easier for to recognize that area for the movie title. And then this one, I create another label and drag it very wide. And then this one, if you notice here, it have one attribute called lines. So lines by default is 1, meaning that label view you only have one line. What if you want that one to be multiple lines? To change one to 0. So 0 means multiple lines. Okay, and I can set the font here. So now it's 17 is quite big. To change 14. The title is smaller, and I want the title to be, for example, I want it to be bold. Okay, right. So later we for every cell we had something like we had the poster here, we had the title here, and we had the overview here, right? And then how do we access that cell? So you open this one, you see we had a table view cell here, right? And on the right you see the identifier. It's called the reuse identifier. Later we will reuse the cell. We only create the cell, the prototype cell one time, but we are going to reuse that one many times. In this case we reuse that one 20 times, right? So we need to create an identifier. We call that reuse identifier. So I just call it the movie cell now. Later we will use that identifier. So notice that one. Later I will use that. What else? We need to create a class for that cell. So how to create a class? So to click on this one, you create a new file. CocoaPods, same thing. You are going to create a UI table view cell, right? The class will be UI table view cell. So it's not a UI view controller anymore, but you need a UI table view cell. So it will change this one to table view cell, and what you want is I call this one the movie cell. Okay, so I created the movie cell. I made the text a little bit bigger, so okay, and then similar to what you did before for the view controller, you need to do the same thing for the movie cell. You go to this one, the driver license icon, and then you change this one, the class to be the movie cell. We need the one you just created. Again, so remember earlier we created this one this is the class of the view controller class, and the one we just created is the subclass of the UI table view cell. Okay. Okay, so go back to this one. If you click on the cell, right? We click on this one, the two circle. So it will associate this one. But from now, if you go to the automatic, it show two files. We want the movie cell because we are working on the cell. So for the cell, same thing. Is it too big? I find a little bit hard for me to. Want some more space. Okay, so same thing, we control and drag the thing to create the outlet. So remember one thing, the for the table view is you cannot name it image view. Image view is something that's already been used by the table view, so you cannot use this one. Whatever you want to name it, but don't call it image view. So I call it poster view. Right. Create some space here. This one will be the title label, and this one will be the overview label. Okay, so we just create the outlet for the thing inside the movie cell, right? Okay, what we are going to do next is now within the movie view controller. So before we use this one, right, we are not going to use this one anymore. We comment this one, we do something else. So it's say less cell. Okay, so we also want has something like called UI table view cell, right? We return a UI table view cell, so and we need to use this one. I introduce you one new concept. That's one called DQ. We had a table view dot DQ. Okay, so this one, you see DQ reusable cell. What does it mean? Earlier, you remember I said one thing called the reuse identifier, right? And this one called DQ. So what happened is earlier before earlier of the script like of SQL, no, not of the iOS. So earlier than iOS 6, so they didn't have this one called the DQ thing. So the problem with it is that every time you load the table view, the iOS will allocate the memory for all the cells. Like if your table view had like 1,000 cells, then it will allocate the memory for 1,000 cells, and it will eat up the memory, and it will call the screen will be like it jerking when you move, you scroll the screen, scroll the table view, right? So later there's some guy from Apple that he think of this one. He said, hey, why do we need to allocate the memory for everything? We just show on the screen. Like earlier you see this one, the screen is just able to show like around 10, right? 10 cell or 11 cells, something like that. Then why do we need to allocate the memory for a bunch of thousands, right? So that's why we have something called the DQ reusable, meaning it will put this one in the put its cell into the queue, and then if I go into when I scroll up, I say, hey, I'm going to use this one, I DQ that one for me, DQ the cell for me, and we reuse the cell. So it should allocate the memory like it just within the screen size and plus and minus one. So by doing that way, we save the memory and improve the performance of the table view. So again, go back to this one. We had the DQ reusable cell, and then you say with identifier. What is the identifier? We name it before, right? Movie cell, right? And then we need to cut this one into the movie cell. Okay. So why can we return this cell? This cell is the movie cell, but the movie cell is a subclass of UI table view cell, right? So it's also the UI table view cell. That's the reason why we can return this one. Okay, so what else? We need to earlier you know that we have the 3 outlets inside this cell, right? So we can use cell dot. What do we have now? Poster view. Poster view is the image. We don't know how to load the image now. Forget it for now. Just use the title label, right? And then add, and then how do we set this one? Similar to what we did earlier before. So we we do this one, right? We got the title, and then same thing. I copy this one. We will have the overview, right? And then something here. What is the key? The key overview, right? Just copy this one and we put here overview. The poster we talk about that one later. We don't know for now how to load the image. We just know how to load the text. Just run it first. Cool. So you see the difference, right? We add a little bit some more color, we add the movie title and the movie overview. Earlier I set this one to be multiple lines, but it's because it's too long and it's just able to display two rows. That's why you see some dot here. Right. Never mind about that one. Later you go back and you figure out how to display more text or you whatever you want to do. But we need to load the image here, right? How do we do that? Okay. So for now I introduce you one more thing. We're talking about the CocoaPod. So if you remember on the Facebook, I asked you to install CocoaPod in advance. So what is CocoaPod? Okay, if you Google it, it had the website called CocoaPod.org. So this one is CocoaPod is like the third-party library for Xcode. So people only write bunch of library there for you to use. You don't need to redo everything from beginning. So it's a lot of very cool library here, and you just search that one, and you need to figure out somehow you block the thing into your project. So here it have the instruction how to install CocoaPod, so you can install that one with this command. After install CocoaPod, okay, so let me move to this one, cd my. Okay, so if you notice right now we only have one folder called my movie and another file called Xcode project, right? Let me close the project. Okay, we need to install CocoaPod. After you do the install CocoaPod and then you do the pod init. I already installed this one, so later you go back and install this one, and then you use the terminal, go to the folder that put your project, and we do the pod init. And after the bot init, if you notice, it create a bot file, right? So what do we have in the bot file? So we can you can use whatever the text editor to open the bot file. So in this case, I use Sublime to open the bot file. If you familiar with the Vim or whatever, you just use this one. So I open the bot file. So here you will see something like this. Okay, so here you can start to edit from here. The bot for my movie. So my movie, the app that the name of my app. So okay, let's search for some cool library. So this library called AFNetworking. So if you search for AFNetworking, you click on it one, and it show how to install the bot. So just grab it line. Just copy this one and put it under this one, bot for my movie. So I tell the Xcode that hey, I want to use this library in my project. Okay, so I use this one, I save the bot file, and I go back to this one and I do the bot install. So remember, bot init, it will create a bot file for you. Open the bot file, put whatever the library you want to use there, and then do the bot install. So when you do the bot install, it will download the thing and download the library into your project. And then if you save here, now it create for you the Xcode workspace. The workspace before it's Xcode project is still there, but from now on you will use the Xcode workspace, right? So what is the difference between the workspace and the project? So try to open the Xcode workspace here. Okay, so earlier you only had the my movie, now you have also the bot file. So the body, what do we have here? The AFNetworking you just installed earlier. So now we have this one, and we had the library, but we need to use the library in your project, right? For example, I want to use the AFNetworking in that view controller. I need to import. And what do we import? The AF. At first, Xcode doesn't recognize the AFNetworking. Then you should type, and then it will complain that I don't know what it did, but you should build it again, and it should recognize. Right. So now you build the project, it recognizes the AFNetworking. Okay, so that's the how we you are going to looking for the library and then to install the library into your project. Okay, and here we want the cell dot what we want the poster view, right? And when you install the AFNetworking, it will have one function for you. It's called set image with URL. Cool. This one is only show up after you install the AFNetworking. If you didn't install the AFNetworking, then you cannot set the image for the image. Okay, so here, what do we need? An URL, right? So how do we get the URL? So if you remember, we have let's go back to this one. We had the poster part here, right? And then this is not a full link. We need something else. So if you go back to the assignment, search for the URL. Okay, so this is the base URL. So you just copy this one and combine with this one. You should have the full link. See? Okay, so go back. I define this one as the less base URL. Okay, I call this one base URL, and then go to this one. We less the poster URL to base URL, and then right. And what do we need? The why that? The poster bar, right? We get the poster bar. We put it here. Okay, so this one movie dot. Okay, this one is complaint, need to insert. Okay, so now oh no, this row must be before, right? So we have the URL here, and then I can set the URL to be string, and we put the poster URL here, and then it should complain. Okay, see, we can build the app and then we run. Whoa, it's not 7 plus. No, please. Earlier I closed Echo, and then when I open it again, it just by default put it into the iPhone 7. I don't want it. Okay, never mind. Need to wait for it as well. So while waiting for that one, we are. I don't know why every time I close the S code and open it again, it shows it the 6S. I don't want it. I want SE. Okay, so okay, never mind. This one is on 7 plus. It's 2-bit, but anyway, you have the image, right? We had the image, we had the title, and we had the overview. Cool, right? So the next step is what? When you click on the image view, you want to see the detail, right? So I quickly show you how to do that one. So same thing here, we add one more view controller, and for this view controller we add another class for it, right? So we add that one will be the subclass of UI view controller, and I call that one detail view controller. Okay, and then go back to the main storyboard. On this one, I associate it with the detail view controller, right? And then what I need is that when I tap on the cell, it will move. So when I tap to the cell, where the cell? Okay, so when I click on, I tap on the movie cell, it will move me to the detail view controller. And I click on this one, and I control and drag to this one. So we have something here. It's called boost model and custom. So it has the animation you want. Boost is what? Boost is when something is shown from the right to the left. Right? The second screen will move from the right to the left. If you choose model, the second screen will be from the bottom to up. Right? And custom is custom. Whatever you want to do it later. Later, I show you how to do some very cool animation when you want to change between to the screen. For now, you just use boost. One thing you need to notice, if you want to use push, this is a must. You need to embed it, this one to editor, embedded this one into the navigation controller. Okay, so if you see the navigation controller, it will have a little space here. Let's run it to see what does mean by navigation controller. So many things. Let's close it. For the model, you don't need to embed it in the navigation controller, but for the push, you need to add it, embed it into the navigation controller. Oh, shouldn't do that. Okay, so again we had a table with the image. Now we had the image, and when you click on a cell, it moves to the second page. Nothing here now, but the navigation controller is here. Now you see the back. I didn't add anything, right? But I had the back button, so just click on this one and go back. So that's why you need to embed it. That's one in the navigation controller, right? Okay, what do we want in the detail? So I just now like label. I just had the label here. I just show you the really this one. I said it want to be multiple line, so meaning I will put the, when I click on the detail, I will go to here and I show the overview. So again we create a outlet for it, right? So it's called overview overview label. Okay, so how do we transfer the thing from the first screen to second screen? This one similar to what you did in the tip can, right? Go back to the movie view controller. You will notice it create for you the one here, the prepare for segue. So what up, right? This has something called prepare for segue. What you just create, we call that one the segue. This one we call the segue. Segue means when you tap on this one, it will move to the second screen. That's what we call the segue. So it called prepare for segue, meaning whatever you want to prepare before you move to the next screen, right? So this is the moment where you set the thing you want to transfer to the next screen. So somehow we need to get the next screen, next view controller, right? And this one will be the segue dot destination, right? The destination of this segue is what? Is the net view controller, and that one is the detail view controller, right? Okay, we get the next view controller, and then from here the detail view controller, let me create the variable called overview. This will be a string, right? And I go back to this one. Here we need to save the file. Go back to the movie view controller. I can set it. Sorry, net view controller dot. Now you see, I can access to the variable in the next screen called overview, and then I can set whatever the text here for it, right? What do we want to set here? This is the overview, right? So we go back here, something like this. Right, but how do we get the index path? So let index path equal to table view dot, there's something called selected index path for selected row, meaning that it recognizes which row you tap on it, then it will use this one, so it will able to return for you the index path for that row, and then you just call the index path of row and overview. Okay, so you pass everything into this one. So when you see something like this, the circle one, meaning that Xcode can recommend for you what to fit. So just make it happy. Whatever it recommends, just follow it. Later you learn why it recommends like that. Okay, so then the last step, what we need to do is we set the overview label. Text equal to what? The overview. Right. At previous step, I only passed the value to this variable, and then here when it's loaded this view controller, I will just assign it value into the overview label, right? And you run. Okay, we had a table view, and when you click on it, see, we have the detail, the full overview of the movie here, and click on this one. See. Okay, so that's all for the walkthrough today. There, similar thing, you can add the image view here, and you can do the same thing to pass the URL from the first view controller to the second view controller to the detail view controller, the URL, and then on the detail view controller, you need to do the same thing. You need to import the AFNetworking, and then do the same thing to set the image with URL, right? So that's the basic. That will be the basic function for the assignment. If you follow that one later, you can like halfway through the assignment already. The rest of the things, some more features or add on more features, you can do it later. I am running 2 minutes over, so just a wrap up before we end the class today. So again, remember the thing, table view, two things you need to remember: the delegate and the data source, right? And when you inherit this one from UI table view delegate, UI table view data source, it will ask you to implement two more functions. It's called number of row in session, and the second one is cell for row as index path, right? And when we use the cell for row as index path, better use the DQ reusable cell, right? This one is how we manage the memory. And remember this one, the table view dot reload data. After we get the thing from the API, we have something for the network request. That one is just the snippet of the code. Just copy the code and it should work. CocoaPods, we talked a little bit about that one. How to use the bot init, bot install, and this is the very first library we use. So you may know, you may want to use something else like LMO file, but okay, just bear with me in this one. Just use this one first. Don't use any other library for now. And the prepare for segue, what? Where you set everything before you want to move to the next page. Right? The initialize, that's one where you set up the thing you want to pass to the next one. And now I didn't cover this one, but later in the lab we can cover the two things. For now, it's everything in the happy part, so we didn't touch on this one. But this is for something. If you notice here, the link is HTTPS, meaning it is secure. So Xcode only allow the secure link to be run. If we remove this one, from Chrome it still load, but then Xcode will complain, hey, I don't allow the unsecure link to be used, and that's why we need to do some trick to trick the Xcode to run the link. Sometimes the API didn't have the HTTPS for you, and you still need to do it, and we can show you that one later. But it is also in the assignment here. If you encounter, you will not encounter that one in this assignment, but just a tip for you if you see something like that one. This one, disable the app transport security. But you will not encounter this one for now. But later I will talk that one in the lab. Okay, so that's all for today. I'm running 5 minutes over. Any last question?
Questions?
Yep.
Is compact, so you